Those who dwell on the artificial moon. Let's remember that the ancient Greeks said that the Procellines who lived in the Peloponnese before there was a moon, the artificial satellite of the Earth, before there was a moon around the Earth. The moon is artificial and arrived by refugees from a destroyed planet in the asteroid belt, is what some researchers claim. According to space program whistleblower Corey Goode, there once was a super Earth in the asteroid belt with giant humans who were engaged in a devastating galactic war that destroyed their planet. I guess he got this from the ancient Greek texts, which claim the same thing. Corey Goode argues on episode of Cosmic Apocalypse that many of the giants escaped destruction via one of their artificially created moons, which was sent into orbit around Earth some 500,000 years ago. He says that the smart glass pads he read during his 2 decades of service with different secret programs between 1987 and 2007 provided 2 explanations for the artificial nature of the moon. One was that it is hollow, and the second was that it is a giant space station in orbit. Let's remember, we only see one side of the moon. Now, Goode then says that waves of refugees from over Earth began arriving on Earth during various stages during the period covering the destruction of the former planet. One of these waves was associated with the arrival of the moon, which was filled with refugees. And upon their arrival on Earth, the refugees created armies conflicting with the advanced indigenous people of the world who had previously fled into Earth's interior from cataclysms and assisted the survivors on the surface in rebuilding society. In previous episodes, Goode says that these breakaway interior Earth groups already date back 18 million years, inhabit huge caves the size of the U.S. state of Texas, and have advanced spaceships. In addition, different alien groups had established colonies on Earth's surface where long-term genetic experiments had begun, 22 according to Goode, on the contact, according to Alex Collier. The arrival of the different alien groups and genetic manipulation on the surface, humans had previously created conflict between the inner Earth cultures and the alien human hybrid colonies on the surface. The arrival of the moon, with refugees possessing advanced technologies, threatened to upset the delicate balance of power that had been achieved on Earth between the inner Earth and the surface civilizations. There were subsequent military battles between Hollow Earth civilians, alien visitors, and the overworld refugees on the moon, according to Goode. Evidence of these ancient battles on the moon can be seen today in the form of remnants of giant crystal domes, massive towers, and square structures, which Goode himself witnessed firsthand while flying over the lunar surface. Support for Goode's astonishing claim comes from the research by Richard Hoagland, who has performed extensive digital analysis of the many NASA lunar images he included, revealing the remains of giant glass crystal structures all over the moon. Goode's incredible claims about the history of the moon are part of the double series of cosmic disclosure episodes about a super Earth that once orbited the Sun in the asteroid belt region. In the previous episode, they discussed how Mars was also once a moon orbiting hyper-Earth. Mars then had enough water and an oxygen-rich atmosphere to host a large part of the population on its surface. The events that led to the destruction of hyper-Earth also wiped out much of the surface population of Mars and removed most of its atmosphere, according to what Goode read in the smart glass notebooks. The force of the hyper-Earth's destruction propelled Mars into its present planetary orbit. Goode and Wilcox's discussion of the destruction of a super-Earth reveals surprising historical facts that are very helpful in understanding our true galactic history. So was there super-Earth that was destroyed in a titanic battle that resulted in one of its moons being sent into Earth orbit and another being sent to its current orbit as the planet Mars. The first major scientist to seriously investigate the possibility that the asteroid belt is the remnants of a former planet was Dr. Thomas Van Flandern, who was the chief astronomer at the U.S. Naval Observatory. He wrote several scientific papers on what is described as the exploded planet hypothesis, which proposed that many major asteroid belts in our solar system resulted from the destruction of planets extended all the way back to the beginning of the solar system. Quote, putting all this evidence together, we have strong hints of two protoplanets near what is now the main asteroid belt, the hypothetical planet V or planet K. These were probably gas giant planets with moons of significant size, like Mars, before they exploded. We have hints of two main asteroid belts, probably from the explosions of the two planets, planet T and planet X, beyond Neptune. And we have hints of two very large gas giant planets, planet A and planet B, that exploded in the past near the beginning of the solar system. Van Flander's clarifications on his proposal that Mars was once a moon of a destroyed planet in the asteroid belt. This is what he said. The above summarizes evidence that Mars was not a protoplanet, but rather a moon of a now destroyed planet occupying its orbital approach. Many of these points are the expected consequences of a massive planet exploding nearby, blowing up its opposite hemisphere, and leaving the protected hemisphere relatively unscathed. Particularly important is, in this regard, the fact that half of Mars is saturated with craters and the other half only sparsely cratered. In addition, the thickness of the crust has apparently increased over one hemisphere to about 20 kilometers and gradually thins near the hemisphere boundaries. Van Flander's ruined planet hypothesis provides scientific support for Good's claims that both the Moon and Mars are from moons of the super-Earth. If Good is correct, then before the arrival of the Moon about 500,000 years ago, Earth had no moon, just as the Proselene said of the ancient Greeks. Earth had no moon about 100,000 years ago. Indeed, there is historical evidence that the Moon was a latecomer to Earth. Immanuel Velikovsky has found many historical accounts of pre-lunar civilizations on Earth, some of which he describes as follows, quote, the period when the Earth was without Apollonius of Rhodes mentions the time when all the spheres were not yet in the heavens, before the races of Danae and Thefkalion being Noah of the Old Testament, came into being, and only the Noah, Thefkalion means man of good omen, and as explained, the translation of Noah, the name of Noah is again man of good omen. So Danae and Thefkalion came into being, and only the Arcadians lived, of whom it is said that they dwelt in the mountains and fed on acorns before there will be a moon. Plutarch wrote in the Roman Questions, there were Arcadians, followers of Evander, the so-called pre-lunar people. Good's revelations about a super-Earth and the cataclysmic events surrounding its destruction are shocking. If they are accurate, as Dr. Van Flander's research with additional independent evidence so far shows it is, then Good has opened the door to a better understanding of the true history of our Earth, the Moon, and Mars, and the solar system in general. Good and Wilcox's Cosmic Outreach series continue to surprise and enlighten as they reveal many aspects of galactic history uncovered by secret space programs, which for the first time allow much of the information to be released to the general public through Good and other whistleblowers. And this I've translated for you from a Greek article, a text by Michael Sala. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.